You're listening to The Geek Awakens, where the talk is geekier than already writing your own fan fiction entitled Rogue 2. Let's give it up for the host of the show. It's Mitch.
And that's hi. Hey
Wow.
there. Hi there.
Wow.
And that's the real reason why we're running late, guys. I'm sorry. I was just writing away. Wouldn't let him start.
Also joining us is Matt. Because, nothing works here. Oh, no. It's my fault. I don't work here.
Wrong mic?
There it is.
Hey.
Talk to me again. Let's make this happen.
That's really loud.
Wow.
Whoa, hold on. Let me back off the mic. Hey.
All right, let's try. Try it now.
Check 2. Check.
We're getting there.
Hello. There we go. Hey.
See, it doesn't sound terrible now.
There we go. Well, that's debatable.
And last but definitely not least, filling in. Now I won't say he's filling in for anyone, but he is here in his fancy wolf attire. It's Priest. How is Priest?
Living it up, loving it all. How's everybody doing today before the holidays roll around?
I am so excited. I'm so excited. I've got my Spidey ugly Christmas sweater, and it's amazing.
It is amazing.
But hey, there is a specific reason why you're here, Priest. Why don't you tell us about it?
Well, as I just said, my name is Priest. Some of you guys may have heard of me before from other places, but let me give a quick rundown. I am the host of The Sleeper Hold. Well, that's what's called now. It used to be The Sleeper Hold podcast, where there's no disqualification on the topics and falls count anywhere. I am happy to say that I will be joining 217 Radio with my own show, and happy to share all things about wrestling, whether it's independent or with the big top.
Nice. And
All right.
when does it start?
It is going to start on the first Thursday of 2017.
We're not getting bumped, are we?
I mean, no.
Okay.
He said Tuesday. We're Thursday.
Thursday, I'm sorry.
Oh.
It is on Thursdays.
Oh,
though.
no.
Yeah.
Wait, what time? What
Wait,
time?
what?
It's right after them, if I remember right.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So
I recall that.
we're good.
We're
good.
The three of us are on the board. You think we'd figure this out? Whatever.
We're good. So, it's really interesting though, and there's and we had talked about this, and it's part of the reason why you're here tonight. One of the things I've noticed as I've gone to more and more cons, I've seen more and more interaction with professional wrestling.
Oh, yeah. Wrestlers are sometimes the biggest nerds and geeks you'll find, especially when it comes to comic books or certain video games or whatever. I mean, look at, Xavier Woods. He has his own YouTube channel. CM Punk, Phil Brooks. He actually did some stuff for Marvel Comics with Thor.
Yeah, and he's also writing Drax right now, I think.
Yes,
he's
he
doing
is.
Drax. I mean, they are some of the nerdiest people you'll meet, and it's awesome to see what some of their fascinations and everything else are. I mean, even back in the day with what I used to love with the Golden Era, some of those people were huge comic book nerds. So it doesn't just stick to one type of characteristic. Even the big beefy guys love their nerd moments.
Nice.
Excellent.
So, so is there anything else that you want to plug for your show or anything like that before we get going?
Not really worried about it too much. I know I'm going to be, like I said, right after you guys. I've got 2 other people potentially as co-hosts. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to basically just kick it off from where we left off when I had it as a podcast, and try to get guests here that are from the local independent areas, as well as just talk about what happens on Raw, SmackDown, or any of the other shows that are on the WWE Network. I know there's other big time companies out there, but really the king of kings is the WWE, so that's where we're going to focus with.
Right on.
I know nothing about wrestling. Just I'm gonna throw it out there right now.
You're our fan guy. You're our fan person that just walks out there and goes, "Wrestling, yay!"
Pretty much. No, that's pretty accurate actually.
So, all right. So we're gonna move on.
Now, let me ask you. We're going right into this, aren't we?
Going right into it.
Okay. Can we stall for a couple? I'm trying to work something out, so for this segment.
Okay.
Doing a thing.
But I think it'll be cool. I just got to get it going.
Okay.
Are you trying to find the final countdown?
No.
So before
We have to pay royalties on that, and we can't afford
Right.
that.
Okay, so
that.
while you're doing that, can I at least kind of start to explain?
Yeah, no, you can
Okay.
explain it, but I thought, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
go ahead
yeah,
and
we're not-
explain what's
okay.
going on before
Okay.
we actually start.
We're not going to actually start.
Okay.
It's okay, guys.
All
I'm
right.
confused too.
All right, so obviously, if you've been watching the past month or so, we've been doing these things. It's called Who Wins, where we're pitting two characters that would never meet, and we decide who would win in a fight, or who is the best of whatever attribute they have. Like if we pit Green Arrow versus Hawkeye, who would be the better archer, things like that. So what we're doing tonight, in lieu of having a regular show, we're going to have a tournament. Now, unfortunately, Tabitha is not here. We are without Tabitha. But Priest actually has a character that is going to sub for us. What we're going to do, we're going to have basically 3 rounds. And we're going to decide which character wins in each round until we have a winner-take-nothing champion.
Woohoo!
So,
Big steaming pile of nothing.
now, with there's being an even amount of people here, we actually yesterday on Facebook we asked for your opinion, and some of you voted. One person even wrote in Darkwing Duck. Sorry.
Vote.
Let's get
Yes.
dangerous.
As much as I would love Darkwing Duck to win, it's not going to happen. But anyway, so that is going to come into play. So let's say,
Darkwing Duck is coming into play.
man, that would be awesome.
Like a red herring.
Yes.
I mean, he's a purple duck, but
Good old DW.
that's excellent.
So, so if in the event of a tie, whichever of the two characters has the higher amount of votes wins. So unfortunately, your character,
I'm under the 8 ball.
yeah, you do not win. You do not transfer
Yeah.
Buffy's character or votes. So
Now,
I
before you do
apologize.
that, I got a fun curveball for you since we have Darkwing Duck being mentioned.
Okay.
Darkwing Duck, Tailspin, DuckTales. What character's been in all 3?
Launchpad.
Launchpad McGee.
Not McGee, but yes,
Yeah, it's
Launchpad
Launchpad
McQuack.
McQuack.
I knew it was a mixed
Yeah.
something, and I couldn't think of it. Like I could picture him.
I have thrown that question out to many people, and not anybody has gotten it right yet. So congratulations.
Yes.
Freaking love Launch.
So,
Even though I couldn't think of his name. Little things. Little things.
all right. So what we're gonna do? I have all 4 characters right here. We are going to draw, and pardon for those of you who are watching right now, pardon the awful hat hair you're about to see. There's a reason why I still have this hat on. All right.
Bald. You win.
Yeah, but still. Is it okay to keep doing this, or do we need to wait a little bit more, Pickett?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I think we're ready.
We're ready?
We're
Okay.
ready.
Are you ready?
All right.
I mean, I'm as ready as I'm gonna be.
So, for each round, or at least for these first 2 rounds, what we're going to do, each person is going to have 2 minutes to talk about their character, strengths, weaknesses, just the general idea. And then we're going to decide who would win. So, first round is going to be Gandalf,
Ooh.
which is Matt,
Dun dun dun.
versus the Terminator.
That's what I was hoping for. This is gonna be awesome.
So,
I thought I'd put on some music for the segment. We're gonna let that play while I find my specs that I have looked up here. Well, since Gandalf was called first, obviously he should
Yes.
begin.
Oh, he needs to go first.
So, all right.
You're actually timing.
I'm gonna time. Yeah.
You know, there is the sad part is like
debate, man.
I
You're
thought,
under the-
you know,
you're
that-
under the gun.
Yeah, tell me about it. The sad thing is, I've been thinking about this all afternoon, and like, I really have no cohesive argument. Like, I haven't.
Came prepared.
Yeah, I didn't do notes or anything. I can't like.
So-
I have a Wikipedia article up. That's like the best I've got right
Hey,
now.
that's something though.
All right. Well, Gandalf, your 2 minutes starts now.
Starts now. Well, Gandalf. Trying to think what to start with. He is the most powerful wizard in Middle Earth.
He is.
Well,
Well, hold on a second. Now, have we established whether we're talking about Gandalf the Grey or Gandalf the White?
Yes.
Maybe we're talking about both.
Like at the same time? I didn't know this was a 2-against-1 situation.
Well, no, but I mean, you kill him and he comes back.
That's a valid point. The man makes a point.
He comes back more powerful the second time around.
Well, then we should just start with the second time around.
Start with Gandalf the White.
I mean, might as well. Because here's the that gives you 2 chances to kill me.
Gandalf the Fuchsia.
So he fought the Balrog. He wins. One of the most deadly creatures on Middle Earth.
Now, how did he win?
How did he win?
How did he win?
You're stalling him, aren't you?
No,
No, the thing is,
These
it's
are good
not actually in Lord of the Rings. It's in a, like an essay that Tolkien wrote.
Do you remember?
I don't off the top of my head.
But I don't, because I don't know the answer to this question at all. But it's a good question. If I'd like to find out how he won. Did he win because he used magic? Did he wait him out, or how did he win?
Balrog was a big creature in the movies, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if I remember right, when he was falling down the pit, he had used his sword as well as some magic to basically pierce the heart of the beast.
Yeah, I mean, he has both the
Yeah,
sword. He
I
has
remember
his
that.
magic.
Now that you say that,
It was only revealed like in the third.
so
movie.
it was
What
like
happened?
it was a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Okay, we'll go with that.
I mean, he can use the sword to call down lightning strikes, which he did use on the Balrog. He has magic shields, which can deflect both magic and physical attacks.
That was your 2 minutes.
That was my 2 minutes.
Yes.
Cool. All right.
I'll tell you what. I didn't give you a warning, so you have 30 more seconds.
30 more seconds.
30 more seconds.
All right. Aside from the lightning, he can counter spells. And probably one of the biggest things is not just his use of fire, but the destructive blast, which is in the movie when he slams a staff on the ground and just blows everybody backwards, allowing for other attacks. I guess his one weakness might be that he's old. He's not the most nimble.
So you might beat him in a foot race.
Nice.
He's not going to beat the Flash.
That's right.
Oh, Lord, no. All right. So, the Terminator.
All right, so the Terminator. Are you ready?
We're going.
All right, so the Terminator. Let's first of all establish he's a robot. He's got a battery power that gives him about 120 years to live, which is pretty intense.
Do you have his model?
He's the T800. T800. Yeah, he was the classic. I said T1000. I was totally wrong. That's the polymimetic alloy.
Or
Yeah,
Robert Patrick.
yeah. We don't need all that stuff. This is classic. We're talking.
All right.
So, in terms of his stuff, he's first of all he's a robot. He can see things in his HUD, his heads-up display, if you will. He's made of some pretty powerful metal. It's able to withstand like up close gunfire, short of like a high-powered rifle. Let's see, he's got a 20-watt plasma or phase plasma rifle and a 40-watt plasma phase rifle. Phase plasma rifle. I can't talk to it all. Plasma guns. He uses plasma a lot. Yeah, I mean he's just he's a pretty BA robot. But the only way you can kill him are something strong enough to get through the metal to destroy something, or of course liquid metal.
You got about 30 seconds.
Lots of hotness there. Yeah, I don't know.
Did he just call Arnold hot?
Well, he was pretty sexy back in the day.
Lots of hotness.
Back in the day.
Clam.
I don't know. I mean, essentially, he's just a badass robot. That's all I've got.
All right. All right, gentlemen. So now we're gonna talk, and we're gonna, deliberate. So I guess for me, my first initial question, you said that Terminator can withstand bullets and
Right.
whatnot. What about lightning strikes from Gandalf's
So
staff?
I was looking into that, the one thing that has the T-800 above, a normal robot is he's covered in human flesh. While it does conduct some electricity, not near the amount that would actually fry a circuit.
Okay.
So it actually acts more of a dampener. That's why if someone gets struck by lightning, some people can live. In this case, it's a robot. I've never heard of the Terminator getting struck by lightning, so I don't know what kind of damage that can do. But I'm open to thoughts.
All right.
Am I allowed to?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course.
This
Of course.
is
I'm thinking that he is a robot, but with the concussive force of Gandalf's staff blows, in conjunction with lightning, blast him against or through a wall, nail him with a few lightning strikes.
Now,
I don't know.
let me ask this: how nimble? I mean, for real nimble is Gandalf?
If I had to give a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say he probably is in the 6 or 7 range.
So he's not quite Yoda old.
No, he's
No.
not. He's not Yoda old. He's not Yoda.
Which
nimble.
would have been a good person for this battle.
He's not
Save that
Yoda
for next year.
nimble, but
Right.
he is pretty quick on his feet. It's just certain things would be harder to deflect. Or
I mean, he is a couple hundred years old.
yeah.
So there is that.
So I mean, in that aspect, yeah. I mean, he could, get him with lightning. Is the lightning going to follow? How does he control the lightning? I mean, there's some questions there that would have to be
the
answered.
reflexes aren't fast enough to.
Could he get out of the way quicker and then shoot? We're talking plasma. There's a lot of questions there, I guess, with my thoughts.
And I'm going to curve it over to you with Gandalf. Gandalf, we're talking about Tolkien fantasy or medievalish fantasy versus sci-fi here. we already discussed the lightning, but how does Gandalf's magic and everything else, how would that work with the physics and everything else of projectiles such as firearms against him?
Well, I mean, he has the magic shield that blocks both physical and magical attacks. And if it's going to block a sword or a dagger or a knife, I would imagine that a magical shield is going to block a bullet just as well.
But how would it come up against a plasma gun?
So the question, I guess my main question though is the velocity of a firing arrow versus a shotgun.
Velocity of a bullet.
Yeah, you got to worry about the reaction time. That's the only thing I question.
Okay.
That's another good.
see
That
that.
is a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, look. Let's establish there's not a clear winner here, so we really need to work
Yeah.
on this. This is not an easy one.
No, it's not.
So, on one hand, we've got Gandalf, who is a pretty badass wizard, right? He can do a lot of magical things, and it is possible that because we don't know how magic would interfere with a computer. I don't.
Right.
I'm kind of looking through. I don't know if there's anything else I can say. I'll have to not say who I thought would win because I don't know personally. Okay. I'll hold off. I mean, let's see what you guys' thoughts.
Are you ready to vote?
I think so.
Okay. We're going to, in lieu of just saying it out loud, to avoid any kind of
Impropriety.
yeah, we're going to do a silent vote, so that nobody feels pressured to vote one way or the other.
Now, what if it's a tie?
If it's a tie, then whoever has the most votes via Facebook.
Okay.
Which is
Gets
why
it.
I'm under the 8 ball.
So, go ahead and go first.
I had to go with Ian McKellen.
Gandalf.
Gandalf.
Well, hold on a second. We said Ganon, not Sir Ian McKellen. If that was the thing, it would have been Sir Ian McKellen, obviously.
yeah. Hands down.
No, I have to definitely go with
I
Gandalf.
would say he's his own fictional character. I mean, he is also Magneto.
With the
Exactly.
he
Exactly.
would have definitely won.
Jeez.
But no, honestly, though, with Gandalf, the reasoning behind that is not only the lightning. I know that's a huge topic, but with magic, and I'm obviously a D&D player. I'm a big nerd, and D&D does base off of a lot of Tolkien's work. There is such high levels of fire that could be as powerful as the liquid metal that kills him in Terminator 2.
Okay.
I also went with Gandalf. Not that you guys can read that. Let's just be honest here.
Cut me deep, guys.
For me, it was just a simple matter of, again, with the lightning, and I've seen lightning do bad things to electronics, so I can only imagine what
It's a fair point.
do to
Like I said,
Terminator.
Now, I should have looked because I didn't know that Gandalf had lightning ability. If I had known, that would have been a big thing I would have focused on to find out, like, is his metal that he's made out of, is it conductive?
I would think that he'd be somewhat resilient to it. I think it would still mess up his heads-up display, his scanner for a little bit before it could like reboot itself and repair. But
Well, and that
ultimately-
happened often in the movie, just from normal stuff.
Yeah, so
Concussive
that's what I'm saying.
blast.
I think that
Right.
would mess up his heads-up display at least to make him a little bit impaired, and that would be a huge disadvantage
minute.
in a fight like that.
So, all right. So the other opening round, we have Priest has Soma Cruz from Castlevania, which I must say I have no kind of knowledge about, but we'll get to that.
Oh,
And
we gotta educate you.
I know, and you know what? And I kept meaning to go and at least look at a Wikipedia page, but I kept putting it off, and well, here we are.
So I'm a big Castlevania nerd. That's why I went that way. I
So-
play every single game
And then I went with Q
from Star Trek.
from Star Trek, not the letter Q. That would be
letter
a
Q.
very silly
the
thing to
letter
do.
Q from the letter people.
Yes. So, all right, Priest. Your 2 minutes starts now.
All right, quick background about Soma Cruz. Soma Cruz is a young adult who actually happens to be the reincarnation of Dracula from the Castlevania series after the Great War of 1999, where everybody assumed Dracula was dead for good. His ability is that anything he kills, he can absorb the soul of and then get some of their powers. So even death fears him. The great thing that makes him kind of somebody that you like and relate to is the fact that he is, for the most part, mortal. He does have some hesitation about this quote-unquote curse he has to bear of being the reincarnation of Dracula, so there is that humanity factor in him. Now, power-wise, he has, oh my gosh, a huge list. First of all, any type of effects that would affect him physically, like poison, petrification, fire, dark magic, whatever, he can grow immunity to. He can actually stop time and work in areas where time has been stopped. He can walk in midair, walk on water, walk underwater without needing to breathe. He can summon multiple creatures to be his familiar and allies without suffering any penalty. He can transform into multiple creatures. And while he's using any weapon in his hands, he can summon an extra weapon to come out, like throwing battle axes or whatever. Ultimately, this guy is probably one of the most feared and revered characters you could play as in the games. How much more do I got left for you?
You got about 30 seconds.
Soma Cruz, pretty much, like I said, Death himself, who's always been one of the high characters, fears him. The only thing that's ever truly made him shudder in fear is letting the darkness overtake him, where he loses his sense of self, which has almost happened, at least in, I think, actually in both the games. So he is his worst enemy.
All right. Still got 10 seconds if you want.
Go ahead.
All right.
It's all about the Q.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty impressed with how much he just packed into a minute and friggin' 50
Castlevania
seconds.
nerd.
So,
Jeez.
all right. So Q, he started in Star Trek: The Next Generation. He also showed up in both Deep Space Nine and in Voyager. He is part of what's called the Q Continuum, which they're basically kind of I want to say just kind of like not really rulers, but they kind of oversee the universe.
Like the Watchers of Marvel.
Kind of like.
Okay.
Our first experience with Q is in the series premiere of The Next Generation, where he actually puts humanity on trial because basically we're too stupid to be like the Q. So it's up to the crew of the Enterprise to prove to them that there is more to us than just what meets the eye. And then basically, so they do that, and then he basically says, well, the trial is continuing, so it continues on, and he keeps showing up. The thing with Q, though, he's very people fear him, but at the same time, I think that he sees a lot in humanity, and he tries to bring that out into us. So yes, he is definitely a huge antagonist in The Next Generation, but I don't see him as quite, a villain. It's like the Borg or the Klingons or anything like that.
Sure.
Really, he can do just about anything. there's really no limitations to what he can or can't do. He can stop time. He can just hang out in the middle of space, whatever. He's not completely impervious though. He's in the one episode that he showed up in Deep Space Nine. Benjamin Sisko just like cold cocks him, and he did not see it coming.
Nice.
And he even said like Picard never did that. No, Sisko's not Picard. But that's my 2 minutes. But yeah.
I just want to make this on the record because anybody who knows me is going to get shocked by this. But that little 2 minutes right there is enough for me to go, man, I really need to go and watch Star Trek for the first time ever.
I've actually the last couple days I've been rewatching some classic Q episodes.
Like, only time I would
Probably
watch.
good. I should have started watching some Terminator.
The only time I ever watched Star Trek was back when I was a kid, and it was in the late night show. Watched that while I'm trying to fall asleep, so I never really paid attention. It was just there.
No.
But now after you said it, it's like, man, this Q guy sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah. So, all right. So what's up?
So I need to understand a little more about Q.
Okay.
I thought what was your guys' name?
Soma.
Soma. I thought I got a pretty good understanding there. What is the effect on time that Q has? Is he outside of it? What is this thing?
Yeah. I mean, he says in a couple, a few different times that us humans, like, we keep holding on to this weird construct of time. Because he, in the series finale of Next Generation, there are a lot of parallels to the series premiere. And Picard even at one point says, this is where I was standing 7 years ago. And Q's like, you puny humans, worry about time or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, he can, kind of float through time, stop time, etc.
So time to him is like what time is to a Time Lord. It's there. It's not something that's really.
It's a fluid
linear.
concept.
Yeah.
It's not linear like we see it. It's more.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
And does he have any like powers? I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, he can, like with the snap of his fingers, he can transport you anywhere he wants. He can just make people disappear. He can bring any kind of object to him immediately.
Okay. Makes it really difficult. I'm not gonna lie. This is not an easy.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you were the only one I was really like, man, if I have to go against you, I am going to have a hard time. Here. Because I did my homework a little bit on Q because one of my friends is a big Star Trek buff. So I was like, okay, what do I have to look out for?
Know thine enemy.
That's right.
Pretty much. And
I mean, yeah. For, like, in a split second that would take Soma to do anything, he could snap his fingers and Soma's in, like, a glass case and, hey, you're donezo, buddy.
And there's the whole counter things like of the different summons and whatnot that could help him get out of it or whatever spells. Because again, he's got countless abilities. I tried to make a bullet point of it, and it was taking up about 7 pages on WordPad itself.
Now, and Q can also give suggestions to people. Like going back to the Deep Space Nine episode, at one point he just plainly says to the doctor, Dr. Bashir, is like, you look tired. And he goes and sleeps, and he's gone for like the rest of the episode. This happened about midway through the episode, and then he wakes up days later. So I saw Pickett already put his vote
did.
in.
I have my vote is cast. Very interested to see where this goes. It's a tough one. Look, it's tough.
I'll be honest. I mean, even like I thought that I'd have a good counter with right away stating all the immunities and everything else of how he's like immune to almost everything. Now when you point to stuff, I was like, I feel like you and I would be in a dead heat with this one, no matter how you slice it. I would almost pay to see somebody write something about this, like make a short story about these two clashing.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, this would be. I mean, it is an epic battle.
I'm not going to look. I'm not going to look.
So we're essentially what it's coming down to is we're after we decide this, it's Gandalf.
Gandalf versus the winner of this.
Okay.
Let's face it, the odds of me beating the host are gonna be slim, guys. But hey,
All right, Pickett, you were pretty quick with the vote.
So in all reality, I should vote for who I don't want to win.
Touche. Well, look, the sheer fact of Q being able to stop time, that does it for me. And that he can summon anything with a snap of a finger. Stop time, summon something to kill the guy with, and kill him. Done. I mean, to me, it just seems like a no-brainer. I'm sure the battle would be a little more different than that, with the ability to stop time. Now, I know that somebody said had some time-altering ability.
stop and work on time stops. Yeah.
Man, maybe not. If
Yeah, I can. Someone can survive time stops, but you already made your vote, so it's no big deal.
I didn't think about that.
That's actually one of the bosses he has to fight.
When you said I forgot that you did say that he can do stuff in a place where time is stopped. Oh, I'm still going Q, because that is my vote.
Yeah, that's fine.
I too am going to vote Q. But my reasoning is a little bit different. I have seen quite a few episodes of Star Trek. And it has been a long time since I've seen Q, so I'm not as familiar as I used to be with him. But one of the things I do remember most about Q was the wit and the quick thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Always on his toes, always a step ahead.
Always.
And I think that is the deciding factor here for me, is that as many times as you think you got the better of Q, he was at least 2 steps ahead.
And that I can agree with, because being the Castlevania buff I am with this, even though Soma is pretty much a god, because he's the reincarnation of Dracula, and Dracula's the closest to a god you have in the game, he is still human. He's still, even though he may think ahead, he still has that reaction time and that humanity of, oh my gosh, am I doing the right thing, whatever. Whereas Q's like, I've already got this planned out.
Right, and because of the way Q views time, I feel like that's...
Whereas Soma's going to see it more linear than that, so Q's going to be able to be 4 steps ahead, even with, okay, well, someone's going to think this way or react this way, so I should do this. So I would have to agree that I'd have to vote against myself on this one.
All right, so now here's what we're dealing with now. We're dealing with Q versus Gandalf.
Which, that's just... God, that's got like fanfic written all over it. I know this is the second time I've mentioned fan fiction tonight, but...
I seriously just want to see these two play chess. A battle
that
of
would
wits.
be absolutely...
Q just tells Gandalf, you lose in 35 turns anyways, just stop. No,
Now see, and I was really hoping that we would see a Q versus Gandalf, because, I mean, right off the bat, without even Gandalf realizing it, Q could turn his staff into a snake.
yeah.
Sorry about it.
Well, then what does he have, though? I mean, at that point, does he have anything? Because he doesn't have power without his staff, right?
The staff essentially channels the power.
Right.
So, I mean, the staff was blown apart, and he was still able to do minimal things, but
you
yeah,
can't
for the
go.
most
You can't
part,
get by with minimal.
No.
The staff, and again, this is me being a nerd with D&D, because it's Tolkien. D&D is basically all around a lot of Tolkien. With a wizard, the staff is like a amplifier. They may still be able to cast the spells to some extent, but it's not going to be
have the
as
strength.
powerful and destructive
Right.
as the energized staff. So that is a good point. I mean, it's almost like, I guess you could say Q would be like the one guy from Kung Pao. Your shirt is blue, now it's red. He could just like that, so you got a good counter there.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Plus, I mean, he just stops. Once again, time stopping. Being able to stop time.
Yeah, and I mean, as I was arguing for Q a minute ago, I realized that I was kind of sealing my own fate, because, like, I mean, I have to argue against myself on this, because thinking ahead and as wise as Gandalf is, and as many possibilities as he could foresee, Q already knows the outcome.
Yeah,
Right.
and the other thing I was just thinking this as you were talking. I mean, even though you have Gandalf, who has a high deal of charisma, I mean, he got most of Middle Earth to fight on his side. He could have a whole army of almost all of Middle Earth going after Q, and Q could just go, okay, Mars, or something like that. Just replace them somewhere so they have no familiarity with.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I hate to say it, but yeah, Q's kind of got the advantage on this one.
So, any other points, or should we take it to a vote? Or?
I don't know if I like Q anymore.
I mean, we can take it to a vote. Yeah, I think we're at a point where we can take it to a vote.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure we all know.
Yeah.
Pretty sure we all know where this one's going.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and start. I'm gonna vote Q.
I'm going to vote Nightwing. No, I'm going to go with Q.
All right.
R. No, I'm just kidding. Q.
So I am the first annual Who Wins champion. I'm so excited.
This should be
guys.
more often than annual. I mean, we've got like what 40 some shows every year.
Something like
we should
that.
do it every 10th show.
Something we can
Well,
talk
shoot, I
about.
might have to come back for some of those, depending on if you have a theme like comic book only or whatever. I'll have to really think it through.
Well, then we're gonna
Well,
have to
that's-
have a tournament of champions.
Ooh.
I like where your head's at.
See, at the end of the year, the end of the
So
year,
the end of the year show will be the tournament of champions.
tournament of champions, because we'll have if we do essentially we do 5 every year, 4, and then once we have the 4th, you know,
And those
Well,
become our
There's your
tournament.
final four.
those are our final 4, and we
Yeah.
each get one that we can defend.
That could be interesting.
I'm just throwing it out.
I
there.
like it.
I like it. we have a couple weeks to talk it over with.
We do.
So, but speaking of, this is the last show of the year. So granted, there are a couple decent sized stories that we're not talking about tonight. Obviously, we're not talking about Rogue One, which is, hey, if you're not
Happening.
watching it right now, you're probably watching Rogue One right now. And then also, and her name escapes me, but they've cast a female lead for Star Trek Discovery.
Sonequa Martin Green
Yeah,
from Walking Dead.
yeah. So
I
she
think
has
that's her name. Her first name is Sonequa. I know that. But
she has one of those faces. I don't Walking Dead, but I've seen her before, and it bugs me that I don't know where she's from.
I can't think what else she's been in. But yes,
But at any rate, so we're not talking about that kind of stuff tonight, and obviously we're not going to get a whole lot of geek news for the rest of the year. But I thought we should all talk about what we are most excited about for 2017. So for me, there are a lot of things I'm excited about. I'm excited just kind of like on a personal level. The work that we're gonna do in 2017, covering LodgeCon, C2E2 again,
Yes.
all that kind of stuff. I am excited as far as in the comic world. I'm excited because 2016 is when I really got into X-Men, so I'm really excited to see what Resurrection's gonna bring and all that kind of stuff. But I think the thing that goes above and beyond all that is in March with the Power Rangers movie.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Hands down.
for me, as a kid, like granted, yeah, I was a big Star Trek geek as a kid. I loved Ninja Turtles, but those things, Star Trek we watched as a family. Ninja Turtles was kind of something that I inherited from my brother. For me, Power Rangers was
yours.
was my first
Right.
thing, and that stuck with me. And I am so excited about this reboot. In my opinion, even though I am in the minority here of thinking Alpha 5 looks kind of cool. Not as cool as the original, but still looks kind of cool. I am in love with every aspect of little detail that they've released. The bar is set very high for this movie, but I don't think I will leave the theater disappointed. They are going to have to, 5 minutes into the movie, reveal that this is actually a VR Troopers reboot for me to be disappointed in this movie.
I had totally forgotten about VR Troopers.
So did I. I'm just sitting here going, no.
We are VR.
So that's what I'm most excited about for 2017, and I'm so glad that it's happening in March. So then I have the rest of the year to be excited about other stuff. But Matt, what about you?
Fair enough. I don't. I've been trying to think about it, and there's a couple of things. One of the things I'm looking forward to is I'm really looking forward to the Batman Lego movie.
Yes.
It's already in February. Nice.
You think at some point I would get used to the fact that there's a microphone inches away from my face, but no, it's never going to happen.
And I think part of that comes down to one of the other things I'm really excited for is C2E2 again this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a 5-year-old son. I have a 2-year-old son. My 5-year-old, he's been into superheroes for a little while now. But I mean, he loves Batman. He loves Legos. So to be able to go with him and enjoy that movie is going to be it's probably only going to be seconded by going to see Rogue One with him this weekend because he's super excited for that. And like sharing Star Wars and like the geeky things that I love with my boys is just one of those things that I've just dreamed of. So to be able to expand on that, and I guess C2E2 is just a continuation of that. I mean, he's already said that, last year, he was only 4 years old. We stayed for a day, we went home. And he's already said to me, he goes, Dad, he's like, we're going to go for more than one day, right? He's like, I want to go for like 2 days. Like,
Nice.
That's like the best thing ever. Like
Nice.
the fact that you want to stay and geek out for even longer at 5 years old. I love it.
See, I look forward to the day I have like a daughter and we're able to go to a con because I've already got my mind set that I'm going to do the whole Big Daddy Little Sister thing from BioShock. I'm going to rock that. I
That
don't
would
care.
be
I already-
awesome.
I already got my mind working on making a Proto Man outfit for cosplay, but that right there would be like the proud fatherhood moment for me.
Excellent. I say on a more personal note, the one thing I'm really looking forward to next year, as some of you guys know, I spend a lot of my free time writing. This past year, I completed a draft of my first novel.
Right there
I'm
with you, man.
going back after the new year. I'm going to start doing my own revising. I'm really hoping that by the end of next year, at the latest, I will have physical copies in my hand of something I've poured, more than 2 years worth of my life, my free time, working on, and to see that come to fruition. I'm really excited for that.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
All right, Priest, what do you got?
Well, I mean, there's the obvious ones of all the different superhero movies that are coming out, which I do count Power Rangers as a superhero movie. I don't care what people say.
Yeah.
There's the obvious thing of Sleeper Hold in 2017 coming to 217 Radio. Super stoked about that because that's going to be awesome. You talked about writing. That's something else that's always been a dream of mine. I've got my book revised, everything ready to go. I'm basically just now trying to get to a publisher, so I'm going to have manuscripts being thrown out the wazoo at different publishers on 2017. That's my to-do list.
awesome. Excellent.
And I may have something that will be helpful for you as well on that, so
All
remind
right.
me. But, one thing I think also I've been really excited about, I've been excited about these two things that kind of go as a pair for me ever since about July of this year, is I went into 2 Kickstarters, and they should be ready by sometime mid-2017, and that's the Friday the 13th game, where you not only get to play as the counselors, but you can play as Jason hunting down everybody else online.
Nice.
And it's actually been the model for it was the guy who played Jason in a whole green suit doing all the actions. So it's spot on with Jason Voorhees.
Wow.
I'm looking forward to that because that's one of my favorite horror films. And the other one is Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night, which is done by, I always get his name wrong, it's Igarashi, which is the guy who did all the Metroidvania-type Castlevania games since Symphony of the Night. He really was like the guy for Castlevania, and then when they went to Lords of Shadow and everything else, Konami pretty much told him and all the fans, well, nobody wants a classic Castlevania anymore. So he left, made a Kickstarter, and ended up being, at that time, I think he still is, the most backed Kickstarter game in history.
Wow.
Yeah, so he pretty much gave them, without meaning to, gave them the royal middle finger and said, no, your fans want this game, and I'm going to give it to them. And they're very far into production, so I'm excited about playing that game.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Pick it.
Very cool.
I've got a lot of things I'm excited about, but I'm going to talk about movies because I'm a movie guy. You guys kind of know this. I hope to see the return in 2017 of the Epic Movie Show, which is one of my pet projects
Right
that we
on.
used to do all the time. And then after life happened for me, it just kind of got pushed off to the side, and I'm hoping to resurrect that at some point. Don't know how we're going to make it happen exactly yet, but it's going to happen. So in terms of movies, We can't ignore the obvious ones. There's the first couple that are really kind of big right now is Spider-Man, Justice League, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Those have been in a lot of conversation. Justice League more so because people are like, okay, what are you guys gonna do with this? Not because we're all super excited about the film.
Right. Don't
But
make this
it's-
one suck like the last one.
Where are we going with this, guys?
It's
Come
one
on.
of those that DC's always been kind of touchy when it comes to big group projects like that. So hopefully they get the right formula, because I think if they find the formula, they could really knock it out of the park with that.
Right. Next up is Kong, Skull Island.
Does look very cool.
Now, it looks awesome, but let's be honest for a second. It's more exciting because we now know that it's part of this multiverse, or the same
The
universe
monsters.
with the monsters. Godzilla. Even some are saying
Mummy.
Pacific Rim.
Oh,
Now, I'm pretty sure that was a thing, but it makes sense, too.
Yeah.
To me, it's not 100% perfect, the concept, because, Kong and Godzilla are modern-day America or world, and the Pacific Rim's in the future. But you can use some of the monsters from it. So I can see that. Logan, Beauty and the Beast, of course, Power Rangers, I don't need to say.
I look forward to that.
One I'm super excited about, World War Z 2.
Really?
I still have not seen the first.
Check it out. I think it's a good film.
It's alright. It's alright.
I know that Mitch is super excited about 50 Shades Darker.
You know it. I already got my tickets.
Alright.
Let's see here. I'm just trying to touch on the big ones.
We do have Thor Ragnarok at the end of the year,
That's
November.
Yes.
Yeah.
With hints of Planet Hulk in
I
gladiator
have mixed
gear.
feelings about Planet Hulk personally, but that's just me.
The idea of seeing Thor and Hulk in gladiator gear kicking ass.
That I
Is
like,
gonna be-
but I was never big on the Planet Hulk story concept. So
Fair
that's why
enough.
I'm like,
Now
the
let's
appearance was awesome.
now let me. And I know you say what we're looking forward to, but let's talk what we're not looking forward to for a quick second here. Oh, and also Wonder Woman, we're super looking forward to.
Oh, absolutely.
What we're not
Jinx,
looking
you owe
for.
me a Coke. Not only was it the same words, but at the exact same time, the same length, and
Yeah, no, it was right on.
I need to
Same
not-
emphasis.
I need to not see you for a couple weeks, Matt.
I think we can do
That's
that.
really why we're
Right?
taking this break.
That's why. Okay.
The movies we're not super excited about. The first one for me is Baywatch. Sorry, I'm just doing. There's
Some
no
people
hop.
stand in the darkness.
I don't know. I think that's gonna be next year's 21 Jump Street, because I wasn't really excited about that movie, but when I finally saw it, I was like, I loved it.
Are you saying you don't want to see Rock running down the beach with his man boobs bouncing for you?
Anyways, Cars 3, not super excited
No.
about. Cars 2 is terrible. Let's see here. I've got this list here. It's just it's one I'm not kind of sure of. I'm not sure how I feel about. I have to see previews. Jumanji with The Rock.
The Rock.
I don't think you can easily replace Robin Williams. I'm sorry. No.
Well, I don't think they're really trying to.
No, I don't.
Is it
No.
So it's not a reboot. It's just like a carryover.
Yeah,
I've seen
it's-
Jumanji 2 and some of the stuff, so I think it's a continuation.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I wasn't sure, and somebody was trying to tell me it was a reboot, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. No, I'm not 100% on that. And then probably the one I'm least excited about, Emojiville.
What?
Sorry, Emoji
Yeah.
Movie.
The
Yeah,
Emoji Movie?
The Emoji Movie.
This is a thing.
This
Oh,
is
yeah.
absolutely a thing.
Wow.
It shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah.
It was featured on a show that was basically things we shouldn't be. Yeah, things that shouldn't be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like our show, things that shouldn't be.
I think I need to go hide and rock.
Oh, and also
myself to sleep.
Transformers. Not
Yeah.
something I'm looking forward
Yeah,
to.
they needed to stop that when they did the second one, maybe.
The other thing I'm thinking about now, as you're mentioning other movies, I really hope that we get some sort of clue on what's going to happen with Bond
Yes.
coming
Good
up.
point.
Whether Daniel Craig will continue, whether we will get a new Bond. As that one, I mean, the movie's not going to be next year. The
Right.
movie,
But news.
you
We'll
know,
have news.
at eight-
at
you
some
know,
point.
18 at some point. Was the movie, but news. What
Yeah.
will happen?
Are we going to be looking at Daniel Craig again?
I sure as hell hope so.
Yeah. I like Daniel Craig. I liked the last movie.
Mm.
But I only liked the last movie because they kind of tied it into some previous films.
Which is something Bond has never done.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which
aside
is-
from
which was new for me.
aside from a carryover villain,
Right.
Yeah, to actually
usually
tie
never
them,
tied,
tie the
yeah.
plots together.
I thought that was
a new
super
thing.
unique, and I really
Yeah,
enjoyed that.
Very cool.
I think it's something that the Bond series needed. My question is where do we go from here?
Right.
And I want some news. Let's find out what's going to happen next, and let's see what happens. Have fun with it.
One thing that I'm personally not looking forward to, and I didn't even realize this was a thing until you mentioned it on our group or whatever a few days ago. Despicable Me 3. Now, it's not necessarily that I'm not excited about the movie, because
you
hey,
need to
whatever.
Explain this for me because I was confused of why you have such hate for the Minions.
Oh my god, I hate those Minions. I hate them so much. I hate them so much. And you know what I hate even more than the Minions? And this is what is going to terrify me about Despicable Me 3, because we've finally gotten to the point where I don't see Minion memes on Facebook all the time. Despicable Me 3 is going to bring back the resurgence of Minion memes. I'm going to hate every single one of them.
Here's the thing for me. I actually was talking to my wife about this, and these are two little side things, but they are movie based. One thing that her and I both agree is somebody finally needs to get off their ass and remake Firefly and make it as good as it was,
I don't...
because they kind of left it hanging, in my opinion.
They did and they didn't. I mean, they left it at a good ending spot where you could
stop,
bring it back, but I think they tied up enough of the loose ends. The thing with Firefly, though, you'd have to have the original cast. And
Well, and
I
so
don't
that's-
think that's going to
Yeah.
happen now.
Yeah, here's the facts.
That's a good point.
Here are the
Yeah, right.
facts. Firefly is not Firefly without the original cast.
Yeah.
Right.
The
Yeah.
reason the show is as awesome as it is because of the cast that it had.
Yeah, their
Yeah.
chemistry was pretty.
The only place you're going to find like something like that to get that experience, even close to that experience, is going to be like Con Man, which is coming out for season 2 very
Season
soon.
yeah.
Is it already out?
No.
No, it's soon though.
Which is good because I need to go back and watch one. But
Yeah, I still need to.
Well, on the bright side, if you have like an hour, you're fine.
Right.
right.
And see, my other thing that I'm looking forward to, when you talk about the movies and everything else, and I know I mentioned this to you before, was Logan. I'm looking forward to it because Hugh Jackman I believe he's still battling his cancer, if I remember correctly, and they're trying to wrap it up to where this is the last Logan film, which I feel is kind of good because they are kind of stretching him very thin.
Mm-hmm.
But they're bringing, from what I can tell, it looks like it's going to be X-23,
Yep.
which is going to be awesome. But the only thing that makes me mad is at the end of X-Men Apocalypse, we saw Essex Corp. Essex Corp is not going to be involved in Logan at all. So it's like, okay, where's that? Are we going to have another X-Men movie? Or is that being saved for Deadpool 2 when we have Cable? Because I know who that character is. I don't know if the fans do. I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
do. But I'm just sitting here on pins and needles because that's one of my favorite villains, aside from Apocalypse himself.
Yeah, he's definitely one of my favorite X-Men villains. And to tease him and then now to leave us
To
hanging.
tease them, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's going to be the next Marvel movie, which is Wolverine's movie Logan," and then they're like, "Nope."
He would have been a good villain for
Oh,
Logan,
he
too.
would have. He would have been the best. All right, yeah. So that's enough of a geek spaz moment.
So, all right. I guess any final thoughts? Anything else that you guys want to bring up before we wrap this up for the year?
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
All right.
We do have to talk about.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Because this show is done for the year, but we've still got one other thing to do.
We do now. I don't know about Matt.
Oh, right. There's a good possibility I'll be there for at least part of it.
Okay, cool.
So.
This weekend, the boys over at the Front Row Movie Show,
And
Lincoln's Legends, have invited us to partake in a Geek Year in Review, which is kind of exciting. It's our first time kind of getting invited to something like this. Now, I know most of the guys. We live in a very small community of like podcasting and stuff. So, when something like this happens, they think of people to get a hold of, and we're usually top of the list. When I say things like this happen, this is the first thing that happened since they've really got a hold of us. So, but yeah, no, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be talking about movies of the year that we liked, what we're looking forward to, what we're not looking forward to. So I think it'll be kind of cool in that respect. But I'm really looking forward to hanging out with the guys, talking about it.
Yeah, it'll be really awesome, and even if the fact that you know all of them beforehand, it's really cool for me because it's like, it's just it's a baby step up, but it's
Right?
It's a step
That's
up.
exactly what I was thinking, too.
Now, we're going to broadcast live on Facebook as well. I'm sure they're going to be doing their own broadcasting recording, but we're going to do our own thing live. Make sure that's okay first. But
Yeah, I was about to say, are Are we cool with that? Is that cool? I don't care.
You know, it's gonna have to be. I know that one of the guys there, he does a lot of editing on their stuff, and I'm like, no, I'm a live guy. Just make it live. It's more fun that way.
We'll do it live.
So we'll have a live version. There'll be an edited version eventually. But no, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a good time.
It'll be fun.
So
All right. Awesome. Well, I guess on that note, happy holidays.
Yes.
Happy New Year.
Ho, ho, ho.
Don't drink too much eggnog. Although I think I've drank a lot of eggnog this year.
there's nothing wrong with that.
And happy Hanukkah, oy vey.
That too.
Yes.
Happy whatever.
Whatever
Whatever
flavor.
you celebrate.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in for the Geek Awakens. As always, we're super excited to get back this next year. We have a lot of exciting content, and all of it's off the air right now. So we'll be back first of the year-ish. We'll let you know on Facebook as soon as we make that determination as to when our first week's going to be back, and then we'll be back. So on that note, everybody say bye.